Daily on the road today, there are diverse road agencies, oftentimes in uniform, responsible for various activities, from the Federal Road Safety Corps, the vehicle inspection officers, the police, and others. Their functions are intertwined, causing a bit of confusion for some people. Today on Road Matters, we'll zero in on the Federal Road Safety Corps, its mandates, and to a large extent, how much of that they have achieved. We go to Kano, the center of commerce, to trace the origin of the Federal Road Safety Corps, its mandates, and how it affects Kano and its environs.
In response to the unpleasant trend in the nation traffic system, which resulted in sudden rise of road accidents, the federal government in February 1988 established the Federal Road Safety Corps with statutory responsibility for road safety administration and management in Nigeria.
Fantastic, and they contributed hugely in terms of reducing accidents along our ways nationwide. So the idea is a slightly classical idea initiated by the former military President General Ibrahim Babangida in the mid-80s. So it's a fantastic idea, and they are helping the nation, and they are helping motorists.
While keeping a check on functions of the agency, road users are appraising the activities of the Federal Road Safety Corps.
Well, I think they are doing good to the extent of the facilities at their disposal. You see, if you look, road safety issue is supposed to be a 24-hour operation. But what happens by 6 o'clock, you don't see them on the road anymore. And even myself, I asked this question. Most accidents happen in the night on the highways because of these trucks that are very reckless on the roads, and in the cities, late at night, people coming from clubs or parties, they drive recklessly, and you see ghastly accidents happening, but no road safety cooperation at night. So this is a very big drawback.
I'm abiding by all their rules and regulations. You understand? So I believe they are doing their work, although some of them are corrupt. But to the best of my knowledge, they are always on the way doing their best.
At the same time, the other commuters have different opinions.
I don't think they are up to what we needed in the road. Their population is not up to that what we needed.
Instead of them to be on the highway or doing their correction, that's the reason why they call the road safety. Instead of them to be doing the road safety business, they will be doing collection of money.
It's a lot of complaint about them, especially about corruption, and in most cases, they used to arrest people within metropolis instead of going to the federal highways, of which the law guided them to do.
However, there are lots of recommendations on how the government should strengthen the Federal Road Safety Corps with the mechanisms needed for the agency to carry out its mandate problems.
They should avoid being indulging themselves into corrupt activities, and they should try to be up to the standard, especially compared to other emerging nations or other developed nations in terms of their performance. So they should redouble their effort so at least they can get more marks in the near future from Nigeria.
That was Kano, the center of commerce, the state full of activities, where we got the opinion of some road users on the mandate of the Federal Road Safety Corps. We now go to the center of excellence, Lagos State, where we'll get the opinion of some road users on the mandate of the Federal Road Safety Corps. Stay tuned.
Lagos, being the commercial nerve center of the nation, is indeed given the needed attention by all stakeholders, including the Federal Road Safety Corps. We went to town to seek the opinion of some road users on how well the Federal Road Safety Corps is faring on carrying out its statutory function of reducing carnages on our roads, traffic management, and enforcing road discipline.
Road safety has lived up to its mandate, and it came up to the point that they will tell you the fear of road safety is the beginning of wisdom. That time too, there were so much of fear that they are incorruptible. I can't say for sure of that. And I've not heard of somebody saying that he was arrested by them and the arrest was arbitrary. Nigerians flout traffic laws so much. And when we travel to London and some of those European countries, we tend to behave ourselves. You will begin to wonder, are these the same Nigerians who flout traffic in Lagos and all parts of the cities?
Well, I think they are more of their approach currently from what I see is about fault finding than looking into how to control the situation. Our roads are in bad condition. We don't see the active role that road safety are playing in that. The number of deaths that we have on road accidents, mostly as a result of bad roads, is terrible. I think if the road safety can be able to, one, flag up the issue of our bad road situation, it will help a little with it.
The very first time they were formed, the road safety, is when I came to Lagos, I knew of the VIO. Then when I knew as road safety, where they were on the highway. We used to know them as these ones, they are principled. Once you commit, you must face the law. And people were orderly in movement. You know, as time grew, from a little baby, we grew and we got to know so many things started happening. We had so many instances, especially on our highways. On our highways, it's not been funny.
They discharge their duties very well. I always see them around these axes to do better axes. But the problem with them is that sometimes they forget their duties and go for another kind of duty. Once they've completed their duty, maybe for a day or thereabout, then they go to somewhere maybe to harass other motorists.
Averagely, they are fulfilled. I would say, due to the point that when you find out the road are not really too good for the motorists, and foremost, the people, the orientation of the people on the road towards transportation are very poor. And when you find out that the way people, maintaining the road in terms of burning tires and some other things has caused major problem to the road. And due to that, you find out that the road safety commissions have not been able to, come out their own duty and maintain the stability of the road for the users.
More is definitely expected from the officials as Lagosians go about their daily activities. We now take a trip to Sokoto State, the seat of the Caliphate, where Malami Haruna Dogondaji will be our guide.
The Road Safety Corps, it is the mandate of the Corps to ensure or to prevent road traffic crashes or minimize them to the barest minimum. The Road Safety Corps has been doing quite well over the years. But let us hear what perception the public holds on the road safety mandates.
My problem with them is the fact that they are selective in their implementation. Because some of these big men, sometimes they will not even wear that seatbelt and they will allow them to pass. But we, the commoners, they will stop us and penalize us. You see, that is a selection. It is not good. It is very, very wrong.
I was in tangles with the road safety and had to settle a fine. I offered cash, but they referred me to the bank for payment. Another time, I was trapped in a traffic crash. I was rescued and taken to the hospital by the corps for treatment.
Need for the type of job they are doing, but not inside the town. They should be positioned where there is congestion. Then federal highways, because that is where you experience accidents more. Police are trying inside the town, so why is road safety here? Some places where they position themselves in town is really causing accidents and congestion. Stopping and searching everybody. Some who are distracted run into each other, causing accidents. You see? Their job is good for the people because they are usually the first to respond to crashes. Their job is very important because they help prevent congestion and stop accidents from happening.
Well, it is obvious that the Road Safety Corps has been doing quite some work on the road, and which goes along in preventing road traffic crashes and or perhaps minimizing them.
Thank you, Malami. As a road user, you should know your basic rights on the road. No official or person has the right to harass you or waste your time if you know your basic rights. What are your rights?
Road safety, so to say, has quite a broad mandate when it has to do with the safety of federal roads. And they tend to have a wide-reaching authority when it comes to protection of the safety of the road user when you're going on any of the roads, be it federal and sometimes state. But in totality, the challenges that we've seen that most people tend to engage with road safety is whether they have the power of arrest or power to enforce anything that has to do with the road itself. But their mandate is quite broad, having to do with licensing of the driver and other ancillary activities that have to do with the road user. They have a very broad mandate, which has a lot of laws backing it, but due to the, non-penetration of information on the law itself being watered down to basic usage, people tend to look at it as harassment. For instance, a road safety official, when he stops a road user, has the right to actually inspect your vehicle to see if you have certain safety equipment. For instance, what we usually see as the usual suspects, your fire extinguisher, your triangle, and your license, so to say. So they have that authority to actually stop and check on some of those issues. And if they even see that there's an infraction on any of the road offenses, they can actually summarily arrest the person, so to say, and charge the person to court, to let's say a mobile court or a court within 24 to 48 hours. But there are also instances whereby the officials themselves come off as being aggressive and untoward, and that's where you now have two opposing personalities. Of course, there's bound to be chaos. So that's where we now have most of the friction coming in. There are certain, let's say, infringements that attract a fine, which, based on the guidelines that they have, would require you either paying it immediately or being taken to a tribunal if they have a mobile tribunal on ground. More often than not, they have that authority to actually, once you have gone foul of the law, to arrest or detain, or even in some instances, acquire the vehicle that is involved. Yes, they do have that, but as a road user, you need, first of all, to understand the traffic laws that exist. Because we've had instances whereby you have altercations with traffic wardens, you have altercations with vehicle inspection officers, the VIOs, we have it even with road safety officials in particular, and more, I dare say sometimes we even have the civil defense coming in. Now, by our laws, we have a lot of overlapping provisions, which now has even the VIO, road traffic warden, taking on some roles that are by law provided for the road safety official. But the thing is, as the road traffic wardens, as we know them, they are actually an offshoot of the police. And by the Police Act, they are also meant to do three basic things, which are to manage traffic, help people cross the road, and in some instances try and manage the human and vehicular traffic on the way. But on the issue of having to stop an arrest in particular, sometimes the law does not provide for the traffic warden, not the police, to arrest. The most basic of it all is as provided in our constitution itself, which allows for freedom of movement. You have freedom of movement. However, and the freedom of movement even applies on any of the roads, be it federal or state, but your freedom, as we have it, is also still covered by the traffic laws of the Federation. So the rights are not absolute in itself, but they are actually like a, would I call it, a garment that covers the road user. Absolute is not absolute in the sense that you have the freedom to move, but you have to move within the provisions of the road traffic laws of the nation. So that's why I keep on saying that the rights of a road user are not absolute, so to say that they can engage road safety officials at random. A road traffic official is supposed to treat a road user with courtesy and also to engage them in a humane manner when it is observed that the person either does not understand the law or has even gone foul of the law, because they are meant to actually inform you in a manner that will get you to be not apprehensive but actually at ease with them. Because the laws, so to say, and as I said, do not actually just lift up the user. It's a soft landing, it's a cushion to just ensure that your vehicle, for instance, the issue of vehicle insurance, it's a provision of the law. And it is meant to protect both you, the driver, and the third party that gets injured, which we see insurance companies working up, trying to bring up different policies that they have. But by virtue of the law itself, the basic is that your car must be insured. What kind of insurance comes in now? That's where you have the third party, comprehensive, and all those that we see that are provided. So the laws, so to say, that provide the rights for a road user are not the type that you can wield like a hammer and say, I know my rights. You're not supposed to. You know your rights, yes, but your rights are actually embedded in the law that allows for you to be protected. And when you choose not to be protected, that is when these officials come in and they now enforce it on your own behalf. Let me give you a scenario. We have a road user that is flagged down by a road safety official or a road traffic official. First is compliance, because he's provided, the law provides for him that authority to flag down a road user. Once he approaches the road user and informs the road user of the offense that they tend to do, there are two things: the human factor, the mode in which you convey the infraction, and the mode in which it is received. More often than not, we have instances whereby it is the road user that is already on the defensive, and they are not usually ready to hear what the road traffic official has brought forward. So in an instance, you now have a fisticuff ensuing between both the road user and the enforcer, and it's now left in the realm of speculation to know who threw the first blow or who said the first word. And as road traffic officials, they are meant to have a high level of patience, in the sense that they are in the form of a high level of customer management. I'd like to put it that way, in the sense that they are public servants that are on the highway to enforce the protection of rights, but at the same time, they have to also be mindful of the apprehension that the uniform puts to the road user. I saw a video recently where I even saw one of the officials on the bonnet. He was being driven off. Now, more often than not, the mode of enforcing the law is where the issues come into play. Trying to either stop a vehicle from moving forward, and then now coming to try and engage in one-on-one manhandling of riders. Now, in such an instance, the law frowns extremely on such from both sides. So in such instances, the manner of enforcement is where the issues come in. Once a road user has already committed a crime, more often than not, at least I've seen that at work with most of the road safety officials, once you are flagged down, you are informed of your infringement, and you are even given the sheet that has your penalties and everything that you have to do. And they usually inform you that you are to go with one of their officials to ensure this and this is complied with. That is the way it ought to go. But entering into your vehicle cannot be done without your consent. So if the moment you already go into a vehicle, claim that I have the law, no, you have the authority to impound the vehicle. You can't enter your vehicle without informed consent, in the sense that you have informed this person that you have committed such a crime and you are about to be taken, and your vehicle will be impounded for XYZ reason. Now, at that point, you are supposed to exit the vehicle and engage with the road safety official pending the impounding, the vehicle they have for impounding to come and pick it. Now, the process of, would I say, where we have the physical between people, I believe, is that process of impounding, the procedure of impounding. Most times they do not have their vehicles on ground to come and pick up the vehicle. So they now opt to come into your vehicle and take you to their office. Now, at that point, you have been informed of your offense and you've been told what is going to be done. They've already informed you and they've now sought your consent to board your vehicle. But more often than not, where you have a situation whereby the road safety vehicle runs by, opens your door and comes in without informing you, at that point, they have already trespassed. So the whole essence, if you notice, there's a process that has to be followed. But most times, what we tend to see is the cart being put before the horse, instead of the horse coming before the cart. So it's now, as I said, subjective to the scenarios and situations on ground. I think I've even heard their director also at one point, that stand to be corrected, being informed that they should not board vehicles, but they should rather secure the vehicle and ensure that it is towed to their yard. So there is a procedure and there is the reality we see. So, and more often than not, it's the reality that tends to go foul of the procedure and the law. They are on a higher level of customer management. As much as they are public servants that have the law behind them, they still have to engage in the human factor, which is interpersonal relations. Let me put it this way. If the Police Act gives the police officer the authority to secure, apprehend a person that has gone foul of the law in the process of committing a crime or under the apprehension of committing a crime. Now, there are varying levels of engagement that they have, which is their procedure that guides how the level of force they enforce, the type of force to use, and to see how they engage. That is a structured way of managing it. For the road safety itself, I stand to be corrected, but I think the procedures of going about to enforce the law needs to be improved upon internally, getting them to understand that, look, the law has given us these powers. However, you can always enforce these powers through a humane manner, which can be done by your engaging, first of all, flag the person down, because you have to be an insane human being to be seeing somebody in uniform flagging you down and you rev up. Because at that point, when you increase your, you rev up your vehicle and you start moving towards them in a menacing manner, you're already in violation because you are trying to kill a public officer trying to carry out his duties. At that point, that is already a penalty and it's already something that you've done. But if you slow down and they engage you and explain to you what you've done and tell you this and this and this, you find out that those that are in the habit of even committing it, I dare say, 20 out of 50, let me not say 100, 20 out of 50 will be more amenable to listening and slowing down to respond to the officer and actually be remorseful for what they've done and avoid it coming to being. There's what they call a first-time offender, which brings me to the understanding that there are most people that they can actually flag you down. You may be in direct infringement of the law, but they will still, once they see your remorse and you're actually, because you, even though you went against the law is an ass in effect. Sorry for that expression, but it's an expression we know. Once the letters of the law says he that commits this infraction must pay this fine. That's the provision. And beyond that, it's usually best for a road user to have all their papers intact and have all the necessary equipment that has been requested to be in vehicle.
Knowing the mandates and functions of the various agencies on the road will save you time and keep you safe on the road. Change can and should start with you to make your future driving better. This is where we end the program this week. You can stay in touch with the program on our social media handle on Twitter at RoadMattersNTA or send a mail to roadmatters@nta.ng. Until the next episode, drive with care and know your rights while you drive around. Bye-bye.